The draft is still fairly open. They only locked into that OD. They do pick that mid fairly confidently, though. Like, they don't know the matchup yet. The OD is already out. Odd might be able to play around that draft advantage.
Certainly so. Raider Picolé. Only 20 seconds reserve time left for them. They'll have to make some decisions quite fast, quite soon. Fourth pick will indeed be the anti-mage. So they'll do the same thing as Team Odd did last game. Go into that anti-mage and go towards that late game with the OD Sven. Although Team Odd, oh my. Uh-oh. Somebody just got huskered, John. They already have the Doom with the Grimstroke combination as well, so it's not going to be the easiest game in the world for the anti-mage, and now you have a Husker there. This is very, very scary indeed.
Yeah, definitely is. I do like this pickup from Team Odd. It's quite potent. It's going to be able to punish these two heroes, I feel, in particular from Picolé. Again, Husker comes online fairly fast. He wants to be aggressive early on. This entire lineup from Team Odd really does flick on once you hit level 6, or maybe around the 10 to 15 minute mark. You're going to be really active in the map. Picolé's, I mean, you can be active. The OD can be active around the map, but it's not going to be as effective. It's definitely not a hero that just snaps online from EXP. It needs a bit of farm going. The AM as well, we've seen it in the last game. You have to hold out for that 30 to 35 minute mark. That's when you come online and you really be a big threat. But Team Odd is going for something that's a bit earlier focused this time around. It looks like both teams kind of just switched around drafts. Team Odd really playing for that aggression early on. Picolé going for that longer, slowed down game. And quite frankly, I do like the aggression from Odd's lineup a bit more compared to the aggression coming out from Picolé in the last match. I feel like even if they miss their timing here, they can scale a bit. So they're not going to be stuck if they can't pull off that early aggression. They do have ways of bouncing back in. And Picolé, I feel you're going to have a harder time buying space with an OD as well. Because, the OD himself requires some farm. Odd really going all in now with that Visage pickup. It cleans it up quite nicely, Mike. I mean, you have a lot of push, a lot of early damage going on. Some pretty good tankiness going on here as well. And I feel like if Odd can find a good lead by 15 minutes and really shut down the AM on Picolé's side, it's going to be hard to bounce back. We'll see if Odd can pull that off because, when Picolé was trying to do that to Odd's own AM in the last game, it didn't work out.
No, it did not. Raider Picolé, one last pick for them. What will it be? I mean, they've really... I mean, you got to say, they've drafted themselves into a bit of a corner. They will end up going for the Phoenix. You have some decent team fight in the Phoenix pick, but it still does look very concerning if you are on the Dire side. Of course, if you can hold out into the later stages of the game, it should be okay for the Dire end, but early on, I mean, there's so many heroes, John. They need a lot of XP, they need a lot of gold. It's just, like you said, Team Odd, they get a good start. This game is theirs. Like, it's hard to, really come back from a bad start if you're on the side of the Dire right now.
Definitely so. Again, there's just so much going on for Picolé that has to go right. Your Phoenix has to hit a good timing on that 6. Heiko Sven has to have a decent time in that off lane. The Lich certainly has to hit a nice timing in that 6 as well for the team fights, because you're going to have 4 heroes active. The AM cannot join these fights. I don't expect Costabile to be on that map outside of farming in the jungle, so he shouldn't be showing up anywhere near these fights. And, the 4 heroes from Picolé's side do quite a good job, I think. I mean, of course, the OD would prefer to farm a bit more, but can be active with 1 or 2 mid-game items. The Phoenix, the Lich don't really require too much. The Sven doesn't require too much to come online as well. So that potential for the 4P1 is going okay for Picolé. It's just, I feel like the punishment that could come out from Team Odd is a bit too strong.
We're going to find out how all this goes. Picolé, again, going to be trying to drag this out as late as possible. Of course, Team Odd, full aggression from minute 1. And I say that, but we do have a pause coming out. This Sword, who's having the issue, apparently, is a very happy moment for you, John. Start these starts.
I enjoy my breaks, Mike. I enjoy my breaks.
Working a bit
Everyone
too hard
enjoys
today.
it. Yeah, I'm sure That's something Filipinos share with South Americans. We, because of the Spanish, a lot of that Spanish influence, we tend to enjoy breaks a lot. If you'll forgive me, I'm just gonna enjoy this moment.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and cook up some bananas, fry some bananas, dip them in sugar, have some breakfast. I'm sure we have enough time for that, Mike.
Are you telling me you're gonna start cooking South American dishes just because we're casting South American
Mike,
games?
that's insulting to me, Mike. It's a Filipino dish as well.
Is it?
I find this highly offensive. I'm
I've
deeply offended. I'm gonna report you to the appropriate people, letting them know I'm offended, and hopefully you're ready for some litigation, Mike. I'm gonna take this to court.
I've never heard you
Basketball.
talk about bananas and sugar, John. Never.
Yes, yeah, it's actually really good. It's actually really good. I'm sure you haven't seen a banana, Mike, because Australia is a very strange place indeed. But it's this yellow fruit, and it tastes quite sweet. And you cut it up, unripe, and you fry it. You dip it in sugar. It's amazing. I'm sure someday Australia will taste this too, Mike.
Um, I'm really sure it's not the first time you've cut up a banana and put it in sugar, John. I'm sure you do enjoy those quite a lot. Nevertheless, however, we'll get into game number 2. Costa built. Gonna spot out Schofield, the top lane. Of course, Acel saying hello to Lenaro on that OD. Rather quiet at the top lane though. Bot lane I can't say the same because J Mari has been caught out. And this should just be an easy kill thanks to that Frost Shield. But he is pretty darn fast. It won't be fast enough however. Barton will manage to get the first blood for his team. And that is a very nice start for the sake of the Dire.
I do want to point out something, Mike. It does look like they are running Axel in the pos 4 brew. It does look like it's going to be a pos 3 Doom. I have to tell you, my confidence is a bit shaken from this. I mean, we've seen the Brewmaster in pos 4 like 2-3 games, and I don't think it's ever won. I don't know. I think it won once, but that's like a year ago, in very odd circumstances. So, again, I'm still not feeling too good about Axel and this hero. It just feels like the Brewmaster requires a fair bit for a pos 4 or pos 5, and you already have the Grimstroke, who also requires at least a good amount of XP to get going.
I love the fact that picolé is actually body blocking for the Radiant right now, John. The bot lane, they've actually body blocked for Axel and J Mari. Not something you see every day. Heiko will be there to farm up. Probably confused as to why they're body blocking the other creeps. But it does allow, of course, for the creep equilibrium to go the way of the Dire, which is exactly why they were doing it in the first place. As well as that, it does look like they will switch to just dual lanes. Top lane, you do have Costa Bill up against Schofield and Sword. You will have Barton there as well on that lich to help out. Of course, in the mid lane, Lenaro will be up against Control on that Husker. And for the moment, it should just favor Lenaro because he does have the Astral Imprisonment. Later on, Control should surely be able to take over, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, this sort of lane is, I guess, going to be Husker favored once you hit, I guess level 2 is when you really start to come online. Level 3 maybe is when you come online a bit more, but level 1 is definitely not Husker's strongest point, so he was going to lose out from that first 2 waves.
See how well Lenaro can do in this lane. I mean, he's an OD after all. He shouldn't have the hardest of times, but once you start stacking those fire spears up, it can get slightly painful.
Oh, top lane.
Top lane, they do end up getting Costa Bill apparently. The Inkswell Sword, of course, with that Infernal Blade. Excuse me for missing that kill, ladies and gentlemen. The tip's already coming out from Sword into Costa Bill. And of course, Sword does seem to tip a lot of people, John. He is a very aggressive tipper.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta really make use of that tip, Mike.
Yeah.
You gotta stick that tip in. I do kind of worry for Costa Bill. I mean, we didn't see that rough of a start for Control in the last game. He pretty much had a free time. Costa Bill this time around is not going to be given such an easy time by Sword, understanding that slowing down his AM's BF timing will really hurt their mid game. And Costa Bill is definitely not going to have too good of a time up against Doom.
No, absolutely not. They are going on to Schofield right now at the top lane. Schofield still okay throughout all this. Sword is there to help out, and he does go into the Ink Sword just in case. Sword will give Barton a nice Infernal Blade for his trouble. So they will just get back to sitting in the lane and soaking that XP. Control still doing pretty decently up against Lunara on that OD, though the OD is slightly ahead in terms of last hits. Again, that is to be expected. Control will surely catch up in just a moment. Of course, you see at the bot lane, like, Heiko is having a pretty fantastic time for the moment on that Sven. He's actually ahead of the anti-mage in terms of last hits for the moment. How long that does last, however. They do end up throwing the stun out onto J Mari on that Visage. And J Mari is in massive trouble right now. He needs about 1 or 2 more right clicks and they will find it. Another nice pick-off coming out for the Dire. And the thing is, John, we talked about a team mod. They need the better start. And currently, they aren't finding it whatsoever.
Definitely not. Heiko is having a really good time this Sven. I think that really comes down to your lane support with Jamer here. It's the Brewmaster. I mean, Visage can do a fair bit in the lane, although it looks like he did opt for Grave Chill, Gravekeeper's Cloak, so no damage coming out from him in his laning phase, but I'm not sure how much you can really pressure if you're Axel right now. I mean, this Brewmaster really just can't step in and apply some right-click harass. It's just... he can't do too much here to alleviate this pressure from Jamery, and I think this is really just going to be the story of this lane.
See if they can turn it around, but I kind of have to agree with you on that one. Of course, Axel trying to do the best he can, but a bit limited for him right now. Taking the chase onto Theo, but there's no real kill potential there. He'd end up eating a mango just in case he could get something out of it. Well, Heiko will just basically continue free farming up this bot lane. Like, there's just nothing that J Mari can do on this Visage right now to help himself out. While mid lane, Lunaro continuously finding himself copying a lot of damage. Control's been at that HP for a very long time now, but he seems more than happy to stay there. And every time you see Lunaro bringing out more regen for himself, because Control is dealing so much damage with those fire spears. So a lot of gold just being wasted essentially on salves and tangos for Lunaro right now.
Yeah, he's really not having a good time here, having to invest so much in resources. They are going to rotate the Lich, but...
he has Excel there as well on the Brewmaster, and they're going to have a go at this. They haven't got that level 6 life break up and ready to go yet. They will at the very least force the TP back to the tier 1 tower and force a rotation from Theo. Theo actually going to go straight after Control, and they will find a nice pickup in that mid lane. But perhaps a bit of an overextension coming out. Schofield, though, going after the OD with the Ink Swell. It won't be nearly enough damage. Now Axel finding himself in a lot of trouble. Barton will make his way back in, and Axel will end up falling on that Brewmaster. 2 more kills going to the way of the Dire. Unfortunately, for Team Mod, they find nothing out of that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard time here for Odd, but a really good start for Piccolo when really they shouldn't be doing as well in this early game, but they're making it work quite nicely. I feel like the execution on Axel, it's not on the player, it's really just on how this hero works as a support. It's not playing to the strengths of the lineup that Odd has. Again, they want to be online early, but when you have a Brewmaster who's doing all the rotations rather than Doom, it's really going to be hard to expect him to really change the tide of a rotation. And, you know, Piccolo has been keeping up that pressure. We're going to run a tri-lane now on bot. Jamery really not going to have a good time here. I don't think he can really get out if you're alive.
He's going to try. He does have help there in Axel, but there's only so much he can do, and now Heiko getting started on J Mari, and they just focus on the Visage. They keep him down, and once again, the 3rd time this game, the Visage is on the respawn board. Axel as well being chased down by Barton right now, and well, the gaze is there, the stun to follow, and Heiko will pick up another kill for himself on the Sven. And this is getting more and more concerning for the side of the Radiant. I mean, Team Odd, they are not enjoying the start of this game.
Definitely not. I mean, when a Visage has this bad of a start, it's really hard for him to find space in the map to farm. And granted, you could just toss Visage into the jungle once he has familiars, but you really lose out on that early momentum the hero gives to pushes and the damage output of those familiars early on. It just feels like a bit of a waste having Jamery have to go into that jungle, but with such a bad start in the lane, you really can't blame the guy. He is going to lose his tier 1 at this point. And that really just leaves him in the jungle. Axel, I mean, the tier 1 being gone means he can't soak much EXP, and he's still level 3.
Yeah, it's in a really abysmal position for a Brewmaster to find himself in. Like, you really want that level 6, but it seems like it's just a mile away for the Brew. We're already 8 minutes into the game as well. For the Sven, however, Heiko, he is at the level 6 mark now, so God's Strength will come up. And it looks like they're even going to go for another gank attempt on Excel, who has shown himself at that bot lane. He is surrounded, however, by Costabile, Barden, and Heiko. I don't really see him getting out of this one alive.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward kill. I mean, there's not much you can really hope to do. Maybe a couple of crits to scare them off, but really, not much. I guess the Cinder Brew's there, but he already threw out. It's level 1, 20-second cooldown. Really can't hope for too much here if you're Axel. Again, Team Odd is in a pretty rough spot, but it's been a really good start for Picolé. Their AM is off to what looks to be a very good Battle Fury timing, especially compared to Odd's own AM run last game. They had a much harder time with that AM. And with Picolé's start like this, I really don't see Picolé losing too much momentum into that mid game. Sure, they will have to buy some time for the AM and OD, possibly, but with the way their laning phase went, I don't think it's going to be a massive issue right now, especially considering that Doom still doesn't have his 6. J-Marie doesn't have his familiars up yet, and the supports are definitely a bit starved compared to Picolé's side. The Husker isn't quite scary yet, still working onto that armlet, so you have a pretty big opening into that mid game now, if you're Picolé. Oh.
Another pause coming out. Costabile, not happy with the resume. Have a look at the hero levels right now, John, but I'm starting to really fall behind by the Team Odd. Of course, level 7 and 6 already up for the OD and Heiko. You do have the level 7 also available on the Husker, but even he hasn't had the greatest of starts. Does at the very least have the life break up and ready to go now at the very least, so he can try to make some rotations for his team. Feels like that's going to have to come rather soon.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to need control to be up and running to take these fights. You're going to have to buy some space for J-Marie now because he's fallen behind as this Visage. Doesn't have his Dominator up yet, doesn't have him anywhere near Medallion if he's going to go for that. And he's really going to have to go in jungle at some point to play catch-up.
Well, as expected, John Axel is dead at the bot lane. No surprises there. Oh, top lane, looks like Sword is going to try and make a slight push on this tier 1 tower, but Theo will be there to slow things down. Silence will come out from Schofield. He may have put himself in a bit of danger here, but he will get the Icarus dive off just in time. Theo waste a lot more time from the side of Team Odd. End up escaping anyway. Well, we do see Barden there now as well at the top lane, though Theo is still in danger. Schofield will have the Stroke of Fate and will connect. Not quite enough damage yet, but the silence does come out as well. Now Barden, though, with the gaze, trying to get it after Schofield. Looks like he will be able to find Schofield as well, and somehow Theo is still alive throughout all this. He doesn't actually end up dying, and Sword, he doesn't have the Doom, John. He can't really do much about that. He just has to walk out of there.
Yeah, there's definitely not much Sword can do. It was a bit optimistic to play a Chase there, I feel like. He doesn't have the Scorched Earth, so he doesn't have that bonus move speed to chase through juke spots. And I really don't think they have too much offensive capability here, without even creep abilities on the Doom, so a bit keen there. Now it's going to be 3 versus 2 in this lane.
So top lane, Barden was the target, although Schofield will end up going down. Sword throws out the Doom, but it looks like he's probably going to die regardless. Theo will use the Icarus dive after the egg, and Sword still surviving for the moment. Axel, maybe not so lucky, but will eventually get out of there as well. At the very least, they do lose their Grimstroke, and they do use the Doom. Meanwhile, though, Control finds Costabile down at the bot rune spot. So very nice pickup there for the side of Team Mod thanks to Control. But it looks like we are having some further internet connection issues.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a shame, but At the very least, the 1 kill odd does find us on here. They really need to slow down, and getting that kill onto that AM is pretty pivotal. I do feel like, that trade up top was pretty rough. At the very least, you managed to expend that egg, but at the same time, you had to waste your doom. Both sides really kind of draw even in terms of ultimate exchanges there. Again, I don't think Sword is in any position to really pressure this lane up top if he didn't have creep abilities. He does have it now. Shockwave is up. He does have some damage coming out from a creep ability. Still no level in Scorched Earth, but that's kind of understandable. It's level 6 right now.
Well, we will see what they get done, but unfortunately, Sword is now having a few issues, and it's like SL is actually the one to disconnect for the moment. While we're here, John, and we're waiting, you ever had a South American popsicle?
No, Mike, haven't. I've had a gay time though.
You've had a gay
I've seen a gay time. I think I have actually seen a gay time. We were talking about that before. I think I have seen it in the supermarket, Mike.
For anyone wondering,
and it was a pretty gay time, I have to say, Mike. Definitely very gay.
we should point out, Gay Time is actually an ice cream in Australia. It's an Australian brand, John. Point that out. Give it the recognition it deserves. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it, John. Very good.
Yeah. Always good to have a gay time, Mike. Definitely would be a bit more fun in Australia. I had to make do with a gay time here.
You know, John, those jokes were funny when we were like 5 years old. Like, it's getting a bit... I mean, we're 27, 28 now. Like, goodness me.
You're 27. I'm 5.
Sword. Oh, nice stun coming out from the Visage, and Theo still surviving somehow, however. He should end up going down to the Shockwave. No, he won't. What a sidestep. Theo,
Sword, come on.
Making the great escape. The Centaur is there. They will finally get the kill. Sword, I don't think you have the right to tip him in that instance. I don't know about that tip.
What do you mean, Mike? That's all Sword. It's all Sword. I'm not sure what you were talking about. I'm not sure what I was talking about, because that was all in Sword.
Meanwhile, the bot lane Control is up against the world. He does end up going down. Schofield will be the secondary, it seems, if they can find him. And Control actually ends up getting Barton thanks to the Fire Spears. So Heiko, continuing the chase, has the stun. One right click should do the job, and it does. A double kill coming out from Heiko on that Sven. Though the top lane is now being pushed in by J Mari and Sword. Theo will be there to try and defend that, and he will start Icarus diving up. Sword does not have the Doom, so can't really do much here. But he will continue the aggression, it seems. He's not planning to back off. Has 2 Devour stacks as well, so his regen is currently at 35 HP per second. Exactly too afraid of any kind of incoming damage, but they will eventually get out of there. Meanwhile, Control's going for an early Roshan.
I think Sword might be in a spot of trouble.
No, he's manning up, John. Still has 2 Devour stacks, still regenning like a boss. We'll go after Barton now. He's just delaying the timing so the Roshan can actually be taken. The Control has to be super careful with the armlet toggles. Gets bashed once. Oh, is that a secondary bash? Oh. He will barely make it with the Fairy Fire. Control has to be so careful, however. Does disarm Roshan. And will do it all perfectly. Very well played to him. Meanwhile, top lane, they do find Barton. Heiko going to try and fight. He does have the God Strength available, but I'm not sure about this one. Doom was going to come out on Lonaro, but the Astral Imprisonment was there. But the chase does continue from Axel, who still isn't level 6, by the way. Now they go after Jamari. With that God Strength, Control does jump in the middle of nowhere, does go after the Phoenix, and they get the Doom off. Heiko is also burning down. He will have to go for the TP play and will make it out. Meanwhile, the Astral is there from Lanaro, but Theo is already dead. A very nice deny coming out from Lanaro, and they will chase for more with the ensnare. Sanity is being dropped as well. Lanaro should surely be dead here, but it looks like he will in fact get a kill for himself. But their tier 3s are going to be under siege.
I mean, that's some really good play coming out from Lanaro and the Phoenix. They just walked perfectly into his trees, spacing just enough that the deny could come out. That Doom didn't even kill off the Phoenix, and they still have the Egg Mike.
They do. Chain Frost will not connect thanks to that Astral Imprisonment. Theo has the egg available, will not use it quite yet. Control moving forward. There's the life break. Where's the egg? Not even necessary yet, apparently. Now he throws it out, but Lunaro's already gone, and now the egg will get taken down as well. They'll go after Heiko. He makes a run for it, but the tier 3s are under siege now, and it looks like suddenly Team Odd are in the lead of this game.
Yeah, that's a full 4 minutes earlier than the first set of racks in the last game. 4 minutes, about what, 3 minutes earlier than the first tier 3, so this is definitely really good aggression coming out from Odd. Better timings than Picolé's timing last game. We'll see if they can keep that momentum, as they are giving Costabile a lot of space to farm up. Gonna have his Battle Fury up soon, and then farm will accelerate quite a fair bit.
Surely Team Odd realize this, and of course they want to continue the aggression up. Well, we'll say hello. He finally has hit the level 6 mark on the Brewmaster John. So expect that split to come out and be very disruptive during those team fights. With that, I mean, they may just want to engage right away again. Like, we've gone 15 minutes without a Brewmaster split. Almost like the Dire may have just forgotten about the fact that it exists at this point. Sword, though, mid lane may be in trouble. He does get astraled up. Control will be there to help out, and it looks like they will start the mid-tier 2 push.
Again, definitely makes sense for Odd. They do want to be the aggressors in this game. They really need to take a few more objectives, really dry out this map for the end.
Oh, they found the Grimstroke, however. Schofield will end up falling very, very early on. They'll go for more. Lunaro will be the target. Once again, Excel, he will get the Brewmaster split off and will get the stun off on Lunaro. Now they're trying to perma-stun him up. The life break there as well, and Lunaro is pretty much just left alone to die. Now the Tornado as well, though. Nice dodge from Heiko with the Blink Dagger. With that, at the very least, thanks to the OD being down, they will go after the tier 2 tower. It does look like Costabile will try to creep skip while all that's happening, and will at the very least make it so they can't go for the tier 3 mid, but instead they'll move their way down bot, where they can go for the Shrine as well as the tier 1 and tier 2.
Yeah, again, very calculated sorts of moves coming out from Odd. That is some good, good counter strategies coming out from Picolé, just creep cutting there, finding pickoffs when they can with her Sven Blink. And just kind of guerrilla tactics coming out from Picolé. Hit, run, hit, run. I feel like that is how you play against this sort of aggression early on. Just try to slow down that push. And they have slowed down the push on their second racks at the very least. But again, losing that one set of racks is already a bit painful. Costabile is going to start farming up now. He's working towards his power treads, which he didn't pick up as he did prioritize. He's going for that battlefield. So.
Schofield does get caught out mid lane. A nice pick off there for the side of the Dire. However, it does look like it'll be an even tier 1 for tier 1 trade going on. Heiko and Lunaro will stick around that tier 1 tower and take care of it. So again, it will just be a direct trade, and they will have to be back to defend as well, because Team Odd, they don't plan to stop. They understand they are in the lead in this game now, and their Grimstroke will be back up in just a moment anyway. And with that, they're playing a game of chicken now, both teams. It's just a matter of who backs off first. And it looks like the Dire will be the ones to back off a bit. Team Odd, go for the secondary tier 3. Koala does not have the ultimate available quite yet. It is 20 seconds away. But they've gone the whole game without it anyway, so who the hell cares about that? Though Heiko jumps in, double stun is there, and the egg as well. This looks really good for the side of the Dire, though can they actually get the damage? Control is still perfectly fine throughout all this. In fact, that armlet just keeping him alive, but the Sunray will get the job done eventually. And now the side of Team Odd have to get the hell out of there. They get the Soulbind off, and they just want to make a run. And with that, a nice pick off for the side of the Dire. They do find the Doom as well. Sword getting his TP cancelled, will end up going down to Theo. And Pico, excuse me, the Dire, they do end up saving that Rax.
Yeah, again, a good defense coming out from the Dire side so far, and they're buying themselves the time they need. Still need quite a fair bit in the AM before he comes online to be a true menace, but
they may be able to find a Heiko here, but they haven't really got much damage for this Sven kill. They are locking him down, however, with the familiars. Heiko still very tanky. Nice double stun coming out, and now they'll turn around again. So he does have the split this time around. They do have control there as well, and Theo looks to be dead. Now, Mana Void in the backlines, they actually get the Grimstroke for a secondary time. That'll be it. A support for a support. Plus the Bill just pops his head out of the sand for a moment, gets a kill and backs off again. Straight back to farming for him. And with that, you do wonder, like, do Team Mod just keep going for the bot push? It looks like the answer will be yes, because they have drawn a line up there and they are making their way down that bot lane.
I do feel like that is what they need to do. They really need to clear out their early advantage as much as possible. Again, just shrink that map down for Costabile, who has been farming quite well. He's been all over the map. He's been clearing out waves midway, going back in the jungle, finding what farm he can. He is still behind the Husker, but all things considered, he's keeping a good amount of parity there, so not as bad as it could be for Costabile. I think Team Odd does understand that. They understand that they need to apply a bit more pressure and take these team fights. It just gets a bit hard when all of these skills for picolé are up. I mean, the egg is really hard. And for the Lich, even just that Sinister Gaze has been causing a lot of issues in these initiations, so they will have to be a bit careful sieging that high ground, but with that tier 3 gone, it should be slightly easier.
And they shut down control is the real question during these team fights. They did it last game with the double stuns coming out and the follow-up from the egg, but they match it a third time. Well, they get started again. Another double stun. Now the Sanities and the egg immediately coming out, but Control's found the egg. And now he goes after Barton with that Soulbind. It's so much damage coming out. Jay Mari finds himself another kill now on a dominating spree. They've even gotten the Tornado on the OD. Can they burst him down fast enough? Probably yes, they can. He is getting focused, although Control being stunned up, and now Costabile comes in as well. Control, it's him against the world once again, but he will take down Costabile. The buybacks will be there coming out from the side of the Dire, and it looks like this OD is probably going to end up dropping, and that's a dieback on him, and that's a massive deal for the side of Team Odd, who will probably be able to get Mega Creeps out of this. Great team fight.
So, really clean execution from Team Odd. And just patience to use their spells there. Really good.
They go again. Theo, he gets died back himself. And with that, I mean, this could be GG well played. Like, we're sitting at the Mega Creeps at 21 minutes almost. It's like, how do you come back from Mega Creeps this early on? And this is exactly what Team Odd needed to do with their draft. And they call GG well played. They understand it's pretty much over. And with that, Team Odd, they'll move over through to, I believe, the grand finals immediately they will be in the grand finals. Of course, they'll be waiting for the next matchup for themselves tomorrow. But unfortunately for us, John, that's it for today.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good run. That's a good set of series. Team Odd really showing us just how versatile they can play. Game 1, they've opted for a bit slower. They wanted to go turtling a bit. Whereas, you know, at that time, Picolé did have a faster draft. Didn't quite work out. Game 2, they switched around. Team Odd goes for that faster draft. Makes it work for them. Whereas Picolé picked up the draft that does require a bit more farm. Didn't quite work out. A good effort, but in the end, Team Odd does pick it up. 2-0. Goes into the grand finals for the last slot. The last and only slot for South America in the StarLadder Minors, Mike.
Absolutely. So, John, that's it for us again tonight. Thanks to the viewers for watching. I apologize again about all the issues we had with the stream. Of course, sometimes you can't help internet issues. Although it is kind of funny, John, how when all these things happen, apparently it's the guy with the Australian internet that comes in and saves the day. Believe it or not. How the tables have turned. Anyway, John,
Definitely does, Mike.
That's it for us. If you enjoyed, consider following us on Twitter at MLP Dota and at JohnXFire. Otherwise, guys, you have a fantastic day ahead, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more South American action. See you guys tomorrow.